What's going on? Welcome to another day of mobility. Let's find a nice comfy spot on your mat, lying on your back, taking some attention to your breath. Just finding that nice rhythm with your breath, that nice pace, that nice depth that helps you relax. Mentally turning off any stressors, letting go of any tension, mentally go into your happy place, allowing yourself to get into a good place to just enjoy the moment and enjoy some me time. Today we're focusing on the hips and the knees. We'll take a few breaths with some targeted breaths around those areas. On the next exhale, just feel those quads getting nice and soft and deflating as you let go of that air. And on your next breath, letting go of tension through the hips, through the glutes, and through that low back. Feeling those hips sink heavy into your mat. Letting go of any tension through that whole trunk. And maintaining a nice relaxing pace of breath. Let's take one more breath here. As you let go of that breath, let's shift our attention into the left adductor. We'll work our way through that groin adductor area, through that left thigh, so the inner thigh. We find the best way to tackle this is just with the fingers or the thumbs. If you have a kettlebell or some object, you can lean on top of that. This is really choose your own adventure. Or we're going to demonstrate the fingertips version. And all we're doing here is feeling for areas that feel tense, the areas that feel like they could benefit from some tension and pressure release. So just adding as much tension around that inner thigh as your tissue is telling you it needs. You should feel zero pain, zero numbness. It can feel a little uncomfortable, but we don't want to get into pain. If you've been working through this area for a while, feel free to get a little bit more aggressive. This program is meant to be progressive, and that's all based on what your body's telling you it needs. So as we apply this pressure, just pay attention to how the body's responding and going a little harder, a little softer based on that response. Take one more breath here. As you let go of that breath, and shift our attention to the left quad. Let's go face down on your lacrosse ball, pan through that left thigh, search for what needs attention. Experiment a little bit with how we're applying that tension. Try to avoid your regular routine unless you know that's what your body needs today. Keep experimenting, keep trying slightly different things, because your body will keep changing day to day. And what needs attention will change based on your activity level, your injury history, your stress levels, the other areas you've been focusing on in mobility. And improving mobility is kind of like peeling an onion. There's layers to it, and every layer is going to behave a little differently. Just be sensitive to that. Really try to stay in tune with how your body's responding to all these exercises. And the only way to find the best method for you is to try some stuff out and see what works. Let's take one more breath here. As you let go of that breath, we'll shift our attention into the right adductor. So working your fingertips through that inner thigh on the right side, searching for what needs attention, experimenting with the angle we're applying that pressure and tension. If we are using the fingers, this is a little active with the upper body, but still being conscious to trying to stay as passive as you can. Staying relaxed through your face, your head, your neck. Relaxing through your feet, your lower limbs. Just continually body scanning for anything that feels like it's carrying tension that we can just relax. The more passiveness we have through our whole body, the better we can benefit from this pressure we're applying to help relieve tension in this tissue. It's helpful. Counting your breaths is fair game. Feel free to count the duration of your inhale, a brief hold, your exhale, and a brief hold. But that's optional. It really is up to you. Take one more breath here. As you sigh out that breath, we'll move into the right quad. Going face down on that right thigh, on top of your lacrosse ball. Do some quick searching, do some experimenting. Once you've found that area, that location, you may find moving yourself on top of that lacrosse ball helpful. You may find just hanging out on top of it helpful. Whatever stimulus you're applying, just be sensitive to how your body's responding. And as long as we've got no pain and that tension is starting to subside, we'll call that a win. And every chance we get circling back to your breath, as you let go of your breath, imagine breathing tension out of your target tissue. Staying nice and chill, living in your happy place, leaning into as much tension as your body is telling you it needs today. Being progressive where we need to, and holding back as we need to. Let's take one more breath here. As you slowly sigh out that breath, we'll transition into a left couch stretch. So you can do this one on a couch. You can do this one against the wall or a post or a box. Just something you can lean that back shin up against to target your hip and your quad. And if elevating your back leg is too intense and you can't handle that tension, that stretching sensation, don't feel compelled to hold that leg up at all. You can just resort to a basic dragon stretch. As long as we've got a stretching sensation, that lengthening sensation through that hip flexor and quad, you're good. And in about 10 seconds, we will gently get active. And as we get active, activating through that hip flexor to counter the stretch. Let's go ahead. Starting nice and easy. Imagine forcing yourself out of the stretch by working your body in the opposite direction and resisting, ramping up tension as we go. Big tension here to finish up. 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Squeeze through the glutes. Push the hips forward, deeper into that stretch. Ramping up tension as we go. Squeezing through that hamstring. Big tension to finish up. 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax. Nice and passive. And just submit to the position. Focus on that nice calming rhythm and depth of your breath. Focusing on nice diaphragmatic breathing at whatever pace allows you to find calm. Let's take one more breath here. As you sigh out that breath, we'll switch sides. So targeting that opposite hip and quad, settling into that stretch. And again, if elevating that back shin is too intense, feel free to keep it flat. Just do a standard dragon stretch. Find a version of stretch that allows you to target that hip flexor and quad without any pain. It is important we work within your pain-free range of motion. And find that level of stretch that helps you stay in a nice, calm, relaxing headspace. And let that calm headspace just spread throughout your whole body. Nice calming, chill vibes. And in a few seconds, we will get active through that back leg. And let's go ahead, active through the hip flexor, through the quad, pressing into that object with your shin, ramping up tension as we go, finishing with big tension here at the end. 3, 2, 1, let's gently reverse. Attempting to squeeze that heel a little closer to your hips, actively trying to pull yourself deeper into that stretch, ramping up tension as we go, big tension here to finish up. 3, 2, 1, let's let go of that breath. Settle back into your passive position. Take your attention back to your breath. Let's get some good quality diaphragmatic breaths here. Directing that air in and around your belly button. And breathing through the nose if you can. One more good breath here. And as you let go of that breath, we'll make our way to the feet into a standing straddle. So spreading those feet relatively far apart and just hinging through the hips to add a hamstring stretch. And just find that level of stretch that feels right for today. We want stretch, we don't want pain. And your version of this workout may look very different from the video, and that's totally cool. The video is there to guide you, and your body is there to fine-tune. Just pay attention to how your body's responding. Getting as passive as we can in this position on the feet. We're obviously active in certain muscle, but just turning off anything we don't need. And in 10 seconds, we will get active through that groin, that inner thigh, to attempt to reverse this stretch. And let's go ahead. Imagine trying to squeeze your feet closer together, lifting your hips up in the air, ramping up tension as we go, really squeezing here to finish up. 3, 2, 1, and let's reverse that, starting with easy tension, attempting to spread the feet further apart, ramping up tension as we go, really squeezing here for the end. 3, 2, 1, big breath out, relax, get nice and passive, submit to the stretch, find your passive position, scan through any muscles we don't need, relax through the face, through your traps, through your neck. Just find that nice position that helps you relax and stay calm. Let's take one more breath here. And as you let go of that breath, we'll transition into a child's pose. So a lot of times we do child's pose targeting the shoulders. Today we're targeting the knees. So let's focus on sitting your hips as deep, close to your ankles as pain allows. Again, diving into pain is a no-no. Just feel a stretch through the knees. It can be a little uncomfortable. But just find a position that lets you fall into your passive end of range of motion in whatever pain-free range that you have. And then once we're there, settle back to your breathing. We're going to get a nice bonus shoulder stretch, lats. And in about 10 seconds, we'll get active around the knee by imagine pressing your shins down into the floor and lifting your hips up to resist the stretch. And let's go ahead. Fire through those quads. Attempt to reverse the stretch around the knee, ramping up tension as we go. Big tension here for the end. 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Activate through the hamstring. Try to pull your heel closer to the hips. Ramp up tension as we go. Really squeezing here for the end. 3, 2, 1. Let's let go of that breath. Nice and passive. Submit to the position. Find yourself back in your happy place. Find that nice calming rhythm with your breath. Breathing through the nose if you can. Directing that air deep. One more breath here. And as you sigh out that breath, we'll come to tabletop and work our way through some left hip circles. So let's start with nice easy reps. Pull that knee in toward your chest. Slowly adduct that knee out to the side. Slowly working it along the outer limits of your range. Pressing that heel up to the sky. And then starting from the top. And this exercise is done at your own pace. Just subtly try to nudge yourself a little deeper into the end range positions each rep. And it's really helpful, especially with this exercise, to think about giving yourself a second push. When it feels like you're at the end, just push a tiny bit harder, as long as we're not pushing into pain. Really make those hips work for these end positions. Let's really squeeze here for these last few, finishing up this rep. And we'll move into the right side. So back from tabletop, pull that right knee into your chest, adduct that right knee out to the side, finishing by pressing that heel up to the sky, and then starting to the top. And this will be at your own pace, within your own range. And as we work our way through, just challenge yourself to find depth, further depth, like you're attempting to carve out new range of motion. Progressively working a little harder each rep, especially into those sticky trouble spots. And no one's going to know that better than you. Just really working to push through those limits. Let's really give a good push, so finish off this last rep to carve out that new range. And as you finish that rep, give yourself a nice, deep, relaxing breath. Let's sigh out that breath, and we'll call it a day. Thanks for joining us here today. Hope your hips and knees are feeling great. Hope you enjoyed the routine. Hope you're starting to notice some improvements in your mobility. If you're liking the program and you like today's video, please do subscribe to the channel, like the video. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.